Okay, let's start off this section with firewalls. This is because firewalls is a topic that we already talked about in the endpoint section of the course. But right now it's time we talk about network firewalls compared to the host-based firewalls that we already covered. The difference is that we said host-based firewalls are running on the host machine and they are used to filter traffic on that specific host, while network firewalls pretty much does the same thing just on a network level. It inspects packets and decides which packets are allowed to go in or out of the network. So it does work on both internal and external level. And visually you can imagine it as something like this. We have a network that communicates with the internet but through a network firewall that performs packet inspection and filtering. Of course, this is also done by a set of rules, and it can be different for different networks. And as we mentioned, these firewalls can look at outbound and inbound connections and determine which one can be led through and which one can't. Usually these types of firewalls will be found in larger company networks since they do need multiple layers of protection. This essentially means that if network firewall is turned on, it doesn't mean that host-based firewalls should be turned off. Both of them should work and the network should look something like this. Endpoint devices, each of them running its own host-based firewall that will filter packets just for that endpoint device, and a network firewall that will work for the network itself. Now you might be asking, well, why we need both of them, and the reality is that someone who gets access to endpoint device can change the host-based firewall rules if he wants to. But he cannot change the network firewall rules, which will remain inside the network, and it will also perform a layer of protection for other devices. Now when it comes to firewalls, we can also do a little bit deeper division of different types of firewalls. Here are some of the most common ones. We have packet filtering firewalls, which, as its name says, is used to filter different packets by certain rules that are set. We also have stateful inspection firewalls, and stateful firewalls can detect attempts by unauthorized individuals to access a network, as well as analyze the data within packets to see if they contain malicious code. The signature sign of a stateful firewall is that it is a kind of a firewall that keeps track and monitors the state of active network connections while analyzing incoming traffic and looking for potential traffic and data risks. We also have application layer firewalls, which are firewalls that essentially focus on traffic that is coming or going from a certain service or application. Most common ones are web application firewalls, which can inspect for certain attacks such as XSS or SQL injection attacks, and this firewall monitors and blocks certain HTTP traffic coming to the web application. Another set of firewalls that you might have heard about are next generation firewalls. In simple words, next generation firewalls can be a combination of all the ones of the above, while also performing deep packet inspection on lower level to discover malicious packets that are being sent. The goal of next generation firewall is to include more protection for each OSI layer compared to having different types of firewalls, each used for one specific thing. Nonetheless, that will be the theory part of network firewalls, and we also mentioned which types of network firewalls are there. Of course, there is even a deeper division, but this will be more than enough for now. And now let's take a look at some of the examples in the next lecture.